Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Oh, I see. Giant robot. Well, you think you'll be able to sneak up on me and get me that easy? Let's dance. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am SocioPsycho, and today I bring you Epoch. This was created by Uppercut Games, and it's where you play as a robot in a arcade shoot-'em-up style. It is an interesting concept. How does it pan out? When we go into the options menu, we have pretty simple in the controls menu, and they're easily able to rebind the keys with no problem. You got your mouse sensitivity and a gamepad if you wish it. And you can even rebind the gamepad. That's not something you see very often, but it is definitely nice to have. When we go into the settings, you got low, medium, and high. The graphic quality of the game isn't anything all that amazing, but it's not anything bad. And the artistic style, the atmosphere of the world, it all ties well together. And it gives us a very nice post-apocalyptic, destructive city vibe. And it fits very well, even though the graphics may be easily low, as it has been running at 60 frames per second with no issues, no tearing, no clipping. I haven't had any crashes, no issues in performance whatsoever. It looks fairly well for what it is. You got full screen, VSync, and your resolutions. You have a lot of resolution styles, and you did it on a slider bar, so it's pretty easy, as you can see. Not too bad. And sound and music volumes, very appreciative that they have that, and sound sliders. You got different characters, so you can do that if you wish, hints and tips, and thingamajigs. So how the game works is that you begin in the campaign. Now, there are different levels of campaign. As you can see, this is still locked from me, as I made it all the way up to hard and I got stuck. You start off on easy difficulty. You learn the ropes, you go through, the missions get more difficult, and as you can see, there's a change in the screen. And these are the enemy types. On the map, you can see, okay, a shield with a bullet, and a concussion or a grenade, and when we go over here, it's got electricity and acid. This portrays the type of enemy you're going to be fighting, the style of weapon you're going to be using. So if you want to try to have better protection against that, you can customize your outfit and your gear to sort of give you better protection or damage against those creatures. And I'll go into gear in a moment. But it is important to note that your difficulty sliders are broken up by different levels, different playthroughs. You start off as easy and you go through and you beat it and it unlocks medium, and the same, you beat medium all the way to the end boss and it unlocks on hard. And I found once I got up to here on hard that this is where I hit the wall. Now it could be a wall based on my skill, but I think more of it is I hit the wall upon where I need better gear and better weapons, and it turned now into, okay, I need to farm currency to go buy the next tier of weapons or armor or whatever to be able to get past this point. Is that a bad thing? Well, the game is sort of built around that, and it doesn't necessarily deter negative gameplay by doing it because of the style of the game. Now, it can be repetitive because of how the game actually plays, but it's not insulting. I feel the money reward that you gain from a mission to how much the items cost is fairly balanced. I may need to farm currency if I wish to continue to get past this point, but I know it's not going to take me overly too long to get enough money to get the upgrade I want. So in arenas, it's basically different missions that still give you money from doing them, but they're sort of an alternate game style play. They still give you rewards and money and experience through doing it, but there's also leaderboards and other personal achievements which you can try to hunt for to better improve your score. It's just another style of gameplay in case you get tired of doing the same missions repeatedly throughout the different difficulties. Now, one thing to note is that the game does have sort of a story-esque atmosphere to it, as robots were manipulated by the world and they uprised, and there's all this chaos and post-apocalyptic. And you can find these recorders and this information, and it tells a story, and there's actually quite a lot of them about what's going on in the world and how the world's going on. And first you're like, okay, whatever. But the more you read through it, it's actually well done and well written out. that you start to be like, oh wow, this is interesting, I want to know more, or that's curious, and you start reading different things and you can see the different perspectives. And that's what's nice, you can see different perspectives through collecting these. And one thing that is good is that when on your replays, you can get new data and information even just replaying through. So it's fair. The game is very fair in how it progresses with a story, how it gives out money, how it gives out rewards. Now, when it comes to the combat itself, there are a lot of options in how you fight. There's a lot of options in what you wear. And while there is some minor limitations in, I would like to see a little bit more customization. Because what they did is they offered you a lot of different weapons, a lot of different armors at different tiers, but they didn't really allow you to customize any of these weapons with like improved ammunition or perhaps accuracy, larger ammo belts, or maybe augmentations, which would range from various things to faster movement to perhaps faster reloading of your weapon. Now, there are different styles of guns, and as you can see the numbers through as I scroll through these weapons, that they have different styles, different damages, different rate of fire, and some of them do have special abilities. As the numbers increase in different tiers, you can see 3 to 4 and so on, the different way it looks, whether it be larger or crisper or whatever, from smaller to weaker, the weapons not only increase in the feeling and visualization of power, but they feel more powerful as you continue. The different weapons they have really make a difference in playthrough. And I'm not going to spend 5 minutes showing you every single weapon. You're just going to have to hit my word that weapons do increase as the game goes through, and it does feel powerful as it goes on. Different weapons for different playstyles against different creatures. It has a level of depth in what you have available to take with you against opponents if you want. Now the armor is the same way. Armor is a little bit simpler because it has different defenses and some have bonuses as well, and some have bonuses upon what they're better to defend against. As you go up, the money and the visualization, as you can see, increases if you wish to procure these. Now the nice thing to note, the really nice thing to note, is that you do not need to buy every single item or icon that you wish. You can save your money up and try to get the better items, because as you complete missions, you scavenge items off your enemies, and these will give you these items so you don't have to spend money for them. This is really nice because it makes it a lot less farm-tastic. You don't have to farm for every single upgrade. Okay, I got 1,000,000 credits, I'm gonna buy an upgrade. Oh, I got 1,000,000 credits, I need to buy a new gun. Oh, I got 1,000,000 credits, you know. You scavenge a lot of items from the enemies, which allows you to upgrade and feel like you're increasing in strength as well. On top of the fact that there is a level system, as you can see on the top left corner, I'm level 13. Every time you increase in level, you gain 1 attack and 10 armor. And as you can see, you get your currency, my armor rating, and my attack rating. When we go into abilities you can use, you can choose in between different styles of grenades, whether it just be a straight out explosional grenade or one that does poison damage over time. They have different styles of grenades which increase in their damage as you go ahead as well, and you get to pick one of these and take one of these into battle, as well as the same with rockets. Now I found that rockets aren't all that useful overall because they do need to launch from your body, and they take a slow amount of time to do that, and you can only do that while you're not in cover. And I'll show you all that in time so you can better understand, but as you can imagine, the weapons increase and the damage increase and cost increase. And the same thing goes for the hero ability that you're able to have. You can have a recharge ability where you heal up, a speed where you increase your attack rate and slows down everything around you for a short period of time. Your fire rate increases. You have a decoy, which the enemies will all attack the decoy. They have customization in the game, which is nice. It would have been nicer to see a little bit more, a sub-level of customization on some of these, at least for weapons, so that you could improve it or customize it more personally, maybe more your way, but for what it does, it handles pretty well. Now, when we go into the game here, and the game opens up very succinctly with a nice cinematic. Now, these cinematics you can easily skip through with no issue, and the game comes down to a sort of simple roll left, roll right mentality, and a get behind cover or be ready in attack mode. Now when you're on the edge of a map, you can also dodge left or right, which comes into really being useful later on in the game when you need to get around multiple enemies or dodge multiple enemies. Every map also has destructible items. You destroy these items, and at the end of a mission, you will gain a bonus money increase. It's very arcadey style. If you think of something like Alien 51 that you used to play in the arcade games, this is very similar. The map starts out on each level, and you have 3 different zones on each map. Once you defeat one zone, we move forward to the next zone. And something to note is that the last mission on the campaign trail, the very top mission, you have an end boss. Now you don't have to fight through any waves to get to him. You start the mission and you immediately, the first zone, there's the end boss. And the way he's made and designed is actually pretty well done. He's very difficult and he forces you to try to be better, be more aware, or have better gear, but even when you have better gear, if you're not aware of what you're doing, you will easily die. They've designed a goal at the end of the campaign to fight this boss, and they've done it in a fashion which isn't easy, but isn't difficult or frustrating because of the mechanics it requires upon your skill, which is nice to see. It is as simple as moving left and right and jumping over and back. Now one of my biggest issues with the game is the fact that you can't reload while jumping through the map. And some of the movements do get a little sloppy when you get attacked by 5 or 6 guys. So my one issue is that if you're in cover and you want to move to another position, you can only move left or right, whether you're in cover or not in cover. And when you go to that new position, you'll be not in cover or in cover, depending on what position you were when you rolled over to the next area. My problem with this is that when you have 5 or 6 enemies and you need to make a quick attack really fast, there is no button that you can roll from cover to the next position being out of cover. You have to roll into cover and then pop around the corner and attack. This is really time consuming, and especially when you're fighting multiple enemies, which makes it a lot harder. It would be nice to have that implementation. While enemies types do stay the same, but there is a large variation in between them, the weapons they use, the ammunition they use for their weapons, do change. And this offers a much greater difficulty, because the way you fight somebody who is attacking you with poison may be different than the way you fight somebody who's just using basic ammunition. Do you cover more? Because if you get hit, you're not just going to get hit once, that poison is going to tick away at you. So there's different variations in gameplay. Now how does it handle? It handles pretty well. Like I said earlier, the game runs smoothly. The animation quality is very nicely done. It feels terrific. The weapons, the shooting, the action, the combat. It is a lovely little game. I enjoyed playing the game. When I hit the wall on hard and that level I showed you, that was a little discouraging because I was like, oh, I didn't want to really stop and have to then farm gear. The game may become repetitive because it is a simple chore of move left, move right. It stays true to its arcade style roots, so you can't fault it for being linear or being very limited in how you move, because that's the entire purpose of the game. It does hold you back from being able to move into more positions than 3 or 4 per each individual zone, but I found that the maps and the level design make up for it. Now, while you can't completely destroy many of the terrains, there are sometimes effects that happen that make it feel like you're making an impact. Parts of different objects will fall off, it will look like it's getting destroyed. It never truly gets destroyed, but it has this sense of your weapons have a little bit more weight and power, which is nice. The whole world rotates itself around the one concept and the one idea, and it puts everything it has into it, and it makes a product that's actually enjoyable. The game is something of a acquired taste perhaps, because it does take reflexes. You have to sort of be prepared to move at a dime's notice, and that's where the biggest fault of the game is, that the game does not react as fast as the human eye or the player is able to issue commands. There are many times either a 1 or 2 second delay depending on what action and location you're trying to do, where it just becomes annoying more than helpful to you. You see an enemy's going to attack, you wish to move or get out of cover or in cover or jump from one side of the map to the other side of the map, and there's a severe limitation in time before you're able to do something like that. There is no instant quick reaction movement unless it's just roll left, roll right. And while that is a problem of the game, it's something that you only see the more further you go into the game, closer towards the end when you're fighting 5 or 6 guys per map. Because you have so many, you need to continuously move and be able to be really fast and really quick on how you progress through the world. Unfortunately, the game doesn't catch up. Now, does that mean the game's not fun? Well, it's still fun, but there is unfortunate aspects to it. Would I recommend this game? Yes, it is an entertaining arcade shooter in a robot-esque world, robot against robot. It's a very interesting theme and an enjoyable one with heavy weapons, good atmosphere, solid music, good sounds that contribute to how the weapons feel, and the levels are laid out. It's very simple upon what you get here. You start a mission, there are 3 zones to each mission. You move up after killing every enemy in that zone, and then you gain rewards. You increase your level, you buy new gear, and you continue forward. If they make another game, if there would have to be improvements upon this one, what I would like to see personally is a faster reaction time, more customization in the weapons, maybe even the armor, but I'm not so much keen on the armor. Just the weapons, definitely, to make it feel like my own, and even a co-op. Now, I'm not saying multiplayer or anything else, but at least a co-op would have been nice. I think this game would really benefit from a co-op mode, because I can see some real entertainment coming from a game like this having a co-op system. But at the end of the day, yeah, I can recommend it. It's available on Steam, and I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.